Hey guys, it's Mitchell. I'm in Kirkland, Washington with John Sheehan. It's my buddy who picked me up from the airport, and we're in John's garage where we just unpacked the bike. And John is a bike manufacturer and also, I guess we could say, a master mechanic, right, John?
I've only been doing it for 40 years, so I think
only 40 years.
Only 40
sorry.
Years.
But yeah, so we figured we'd take a little video of his setup here and what he does typically to put a bike together after it's been in the case. So, John, tell everybody what you're doing here.
I'm just putting the rear derailleur on the bike here. I just put a little grease on the hanger there. I think one of the things when you take your bike out of the case, what's important is visual inspection. Just run through it. Like I know you've got a couple of scratches here. So obviously, Mitchell, you need to focus on packing your carbon bike a little tiny bit better.
Not my strong point.
Not your strong point, but that's good. You have lots of good strong points. So we won't give you too hard a time. But hey, just a visual inspection and a little clean. When you take it out, I mean, I'm just anal about my bikes being clean. I like wash my bike every time I ride it.
Yeah.
That's not the way it used to be when I was racing, but now I kind of look upon my bike differently. But so just run through, just a little examination. This bike's
and like what's the most what is it that you find in the exam? Like, why wouldn't you just put the bike together without doing that?
I always like one thing that I'm very anal about is brake blocks. I always want to make sure that the brake blocks are clean. I just like look what I use for cleaning my brake blocks. See this here little Stanley blade or DeWalt blade. I just clean in between, knock the stuff out. You
those
use
lines there?
Yeah, just anytime. Well, if you have a aluminium or aluminum, rims, you'll always find little bits of metal in the brakes, the brake blocks. So you want to clean them out. You ride carbon rims all the time, so you don't. But you just want to clean out in between.
Okay.
The ridges, and that helps. You see all that dirt. I've already cleaned them, of course.
Yeah.
So we're going to put the bike together. We're looking at it. It's dirty. We're going to give it a wash as well. Maybe we could do a little separate thing on that.
Well, you know what I was thinking too, John, is I was having trouble shifting, and I wonder if the last time I packed the bike, this hanger got a little.
Yeah, we can do that actually. That we can. There's no problem. We could. We can have a little look at that. We can put a rear wheel in and have a look at that. This is, for most people, this is a derailleur alignment tool, right? It's a really handy tool to have. And nowadays, derailleur hangers are actually designed, to be soft and break off. It's not like in the old days there are steel bikes where we could bend the hangers back and so forth, right? So what we do is we put in our derailleur alignment tool. Okay.
Should I get the wheel?
Yeah, we'll grab it now in a second. Yeah, and
this makes, I know that I've bent that in the past, and the bike will shift with a little bend in it, but it functions far, far better when it's aligned.
Yeah. I think we just discovered a little thing that your hanger, the threads are kind of they're not 100%, so I might replace them for you. I might replace that for you.
They're over tightened or?
Yeah, no, they're just cross. You cross threaded it at some stage. So you can see here. I knew that because when I looked at you look at the threads on the derailleur, you can see that they're pretty snarled up there.
I don't know if I'm getting it with the camera enough,
Yeah.
but wrong way.
They're pretty snarled up there, those threads, right? They're not like nice, sharp and fine.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
So when I saw that earlier on, that said to me, there's something wrong with that. So we just have a look. Let's see what it says to us with the... I'll throw a wheel in. Let me just throw a wheel in here.
Okay. John, tell us a little bit about these Gerard bikes.
Well, they're 4AT800 carbon fiber. They're very slippy, as we say. It means that they're very aerodynamic. That's the new thing nowadays in bicycles, right? I mean, that's everybody wants an aerodynamic bike because it just makes sense, you know. So that's they're aerodynamic. They're made overseas.
But when you were designing or you know thinking about putting this bicycle company together,
Yeah.
what was it that made you just to land on this particular mold? Was it the aerodynamics or
Was
just
it the aerodynamics? But really, if you take one of the bikes, right? Like this is the one I'm riding here, the blue one, right?
Let's see if I get a shot of
And
it.
if you just
Terrible with the gimbal here.
if you just look at it, the bike is somewhat, although it's a modern bike and it's aerodynamic, it somewhat reminds me of a traditional bike frame, like that. It's as opposed to say,
There's a black one here too.
yeah, that
Oh,
one
no.
there. That's Mike Taylor's bike. You're one of the guys you coach, right?
Yeah.
That's his bike. That'll be ready in a couple of days. We're just waiting on.
Taylor, your bike's almost ready, dude.
So, well, the thing that I don't like about modern bikes is kind of the same thing that, years ago when we first saw, like, the big aluminium or aluminum tube bikes come out, like, say, like the Cannondales, like they just lost the beauty of the bike, and so.
So what are you doing? Not to change subjects, but what are you doing now there?
So what we're doing here is we're measuring, we're basically measuring the plane that the derailleur is on, and it's obvious. So what we're measuring, I know that the derailleur hanger needs to be 80 millimeters all the way around the plane, and see here it's 83. When we go around here, it is 75. So the derailleur is not in line. It's not in the same plane as the sprocket, so it's not going to shift. It'll rub here or rub there. And the main reason for that is because in the old days we had steel hangers, right? So when you bent it, you could bend it back, you could align it with the tool, like it was a little bit of a skill, but you're a good mechanic, you could do it. Nowadays, with the carbon frames, these derailleur hangers are actually designed to break. Like you could piss on them and they'll break. Because that's what they're designed to do. They're aluminium, and they're thin, right? So they're designed to save the frame. They're safeguarding the frame.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they're soft. So you're out there, you're parking your bike and you bang the derailleur off something. You're missing. It's easy to do, and it's going to go out of alignment. So, regularly, basically it's just one of the things I do. When one of my ambassadors comes in, we always tweak. All carbon bikes are the same. I don't care what you say. They're all, they've all got aluminum hangers, and they're all,
they bend easily.
They bend easy. They're designed to, right? That's the
right.
So I'm just checking the
well, I have to say this is my third trip to Kirkland visiting John in the last year and a half that 2 years that we've known each other.
Yeah.
And in the last probably 16 months I've been here 3 times. I always look forward to coming here for many reasons, but one of them is my bike gets completely overhauled.
Listen, this is what
it's like
what you want.
leaving here with a new bike every time.
You don't want to own a boat. You just want to have a friend that owns a boat, and you don't want to have a bike shop or bike business. You just want to have a friend that owns it. I suppose that's it. But hey, You know, it's always fun. That's all I can say.
I think the coolest thing about this, one of the coolest stories about this frame was this summer when we were on Martha's Vineyard, and our friend Mike Taylor, who actually is this black Gerard is his bike. I built this. I was on my other bike, and I've been an ambassador for Gerard for, well, about a year, I guess.
Yeah.
But I hadn't actually built up the frame that John had given to me to ride. But since Taylor was coming to the vineyard too, John and then our friend Kenny, John said, "Hey, build up the Gerard so Taylor can ride it." And so I did. And then when Taylor got on the thing, he was absolutely flying down on the vineyard, on Martha's Vineyard. And I was like, man, I gotta build that bike up for myself and check it out. And it was super fast and it felt great. And then I guess the other part of the story I wanted to mention that I started to begin with was the fact that Taylor ended up getting one too, and that's his bike. Is down
here, the black one here.
Yeah, it's the black one. I can't.
The new 9100 DH2.
I can't get this gimbal to. It's that one, the black one. Di2, it's super awesome.
So what
the same frame though, right?
Yeah, yeah. All the frames are the same in all our models. So this gimbal, right? Maybe that's like, what about the ride that they have in New York, outside New York City? They call it the gimbals. Like, is that what they?
I don't know.
I always think about that.
This thing is pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, John started this bike business company 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Well, we've only really been selling bikes. It took us a couple of years to get the product right, you know, like to find the suppliers, the right suppliers. Yeah. So we've really only been selling the bikes in 2016. So 2017 is really our second year of production and sales, and so we're just loving it. We're having a good time.
And the bike show is next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend, the Seattle Bike Show. If anybody wants to come along, and we're actually going to raffle a frame, you know.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to raffle a frame and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to have fun. We're going to have like Tim Rutledge there.
Tim Rutledge
for people that don't know, he's one of the.
Wasn't he a professional cyclocrosser or something?
But he also like he's one of the few people that rode and finished the Tour of Italy.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So Tim is the real deal, and Greg Orovitz is going there, 2-time U.S. Pro champion. You know, anybody that knows
anything about American
cycling knows Greg.
John and I have had this debate. I think that of all the riders I've ridden with and that I know of, I would say that Greg is probably the best rider, at least American rider, that I've ever seen.
Like Greg's just like one of the greatest bike riders ever. You know?
And he's incredible. He's just he's like Secretariat on a bike.
Yeah. You look at the website GerardCycles.com. I used to be Stephen Roach's training partner in Dublin back home the old days. He used to crucify me 4 hours, all that kind of stuff. It was just great. But I mean, Sean Kelly, I've ridden with a lot of good bike riders. But I mean, it's kind of hard to say. It's like for the average guy, Greg was the greatest, right? That's all I would say.
Yeah.
We have lots of good memories of the old days in France. Yeah. Like you'd be in a race, you were in the race, the same race as Greg, but you were in a different part of the race. Yeah. Greg was in the break, and a lot of people were just hanging on.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that he actually rode with Le Mans on Leclerc, was it?
No, I think ADR. ADR it was, yeah.
And, was just sort of quietly probably the most dominant American rider, at least in one-day races for many years. And
super bike rider.
He just moved up here, just a few miles up the road.
Yeah, living in Bellingham. So it's great that to reassociate with old friends that you used to race with years ago, and
it's a small world.
It's a small. The bike riding world is a small world.
I used to train with Greg when he worked at Belmont Wheel Works in Massachusetts. We used to train out at Wachusett, And this is back in like 2004, 2005. And he hadn't been retired that long. And I was just fully into the amateur regional scene. So I learned a lot about bike racing from him, and a lot about Eddie B. He does a great Eddie B imitation. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. No. When someone going very strong on front, strong like ox,
Strong like bull.
strong like bull. But yeah.
Actually, do you know what I mean? When I think about it, like I'm really gifted that like another one of my ambassadors, Bob Wade. Actually, Bobby is down in California right now.
I wish he was here, man.
God, like
he's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's
like.
Yeah.
How many months? Yeah. He's like, not only does he do volume, he does
lots of climbing as well.
And he's our age, right? He's
Basically
a full-time. He's like a surfing bum.
Yeah.
He's got a camper.
Except on a bike.
Yeah, he's got a camper, and he's in California. They call him Seattle Bob. They just because he goes down to there. He goes down there for
3 months.
3 months just to do group rides in Santa Barbara.
He's a stud, right? He
crushes the young guys.
Yeah. Not that that's you're not trying to crush him. He's just so fast, right?
That's what he does.
Just like you, right?
Lifestyle. Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I tried.
So it's kind of cool. So
you're working on getting the handlebars back.
Yeah, we're just like getting your headset. I think we're going to look at your headset. You said it was making a little noise, so it probably just like needs a little bit of like tender loving care,
Yeah.
That like we don't. It's okay for you like not to look after your bike that well, seeing as you go so fast. But like if you don't go fast, you better look after your bike, okay?
Right. Sounds a little snarky. Yeah. So in the day, John was an Olympic caliber rider, right? Tell the folks about your background.
Oh, I was the most worthless bike rider that could win a bike race. I was a good sprinter. That's what I was. I was just a good sprinter. I was strong, big legs,
But come on, tell them. No, you won a lot of races in the United States.
Oh yeah, I won
Super Week and those
some good. I won some good races. Like I raced for the Toga Bike Shop in New York City, who I love. Lenny.
Oh yeah, of course.
Lenny was just a gentleman of all gentlemen. Took a chance on us, and we won. I won like.
Who else rode on Toga? I can think of.
George. Well, listen, like George Hincapie, like he was only a kid. He was
and Richard, right?
17 or 18. Yeah. God, he was like so fast. He was such a.
Didn't Hamilton ride up for Toga as well?
I don't know, not when I was there, but we had Nelson Bales, like,
I've heard of him.
Who else? We had lots of, like, good guests. Right? Julian Dalby, my buddy Julian Dalby, was really the two of us. We went over there together, and it was all just great, man. We were giving it a shot. I see a lot of...
So Julian Dalby he was an Irish national road champion, and you were second in the year he won, and then he won a bunch of other stuff, and then he went on to do lots of things. He became a doctor, but why don't you tell him about what he's doing now?
Well, he's actually Conor McGregor's coach. He's actually his coach.
Conor McGregor, for those of you that don't know, is the number one MMA fighter in the world right now. Just dominates. So he's
Conor's good. He's a nice guy. Conor's actually from the same street in Dublin as I am. That's why.
Where's that?
It's in Crumlin in Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of.
I gotta go to Ireland with you, man.
We have to go. Anybody wants to go? Listen,
we're gonna do the tour.
You want to have a good time bike riding, eating like good food, playing a little golf? You go to Ireland, man. Culture and bike riding, it's got it all. Trust me. Fun.
Yeah.
There's great places in the world. My new greatest place is Italy. I've been twice. I did the Gran Fondo Fausto Coppi. last, what was it, September.
Yeah.
Almost killed me. The hardest thing I've ever done. First time and only time I've ever walked up a hill on a bike. I actually had to walk.
Yeah, you told me.
Oh my God. So, but then I am 240 pounds. Anybody knows how I can reduce weight? Tell me. Besides, like, starving myself.
So John raced at 180 pounds.
Yeah, that's right. 180, and I was still too big at 180. I was still big. I needed to be like 170.
So, one of the most fascinating conversations I've had with John recently was we were talking about FTP and increasing functional threshold power.
Yeah.
And I was sharing with him some of the the latest science that a lot of the coaches are following today, which the zones and this sort of thing. And then you said to me that he goes, I don't know about all of that, but what was the college in Ireland?
Oh, Trinity College. When I was on the Olympic squad, they used to test us down in Trinity College, on the ergometer. I think it was called
Trinity College in Dublin.
Dublin,
right?
Yeah. So in the sports lab, around it, So the doctors down there. So there's very interesting things like that they used to tell. And these were like.
And what year was this, John?
Jesus.
83, 84?
No. It was 1990.
Oh, 1990.
1990.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was shortlisted. I was shortlisted for the Barcelona Olympics. Yeah. So I got hurt. Got run down by a car. All that kind of stuff.
You got run down by a car.
I don't like to dwell. We don't like to dwell on the past, but like the facts are the facts, right? We put it behind us. We try and work through it. But the doctors, they talked to us about, threshold, or as they used to call it OBLA, onset of blood lactate.
OBLA.
Yeah.
What is it again? Sorry.
Onset of blood lactate acid.
Yeah.
And they used to say like, well, your OBLA is, I remember mine at the time was 343 watts was what they pegged it at, right?
Yeah.
That seems very small. We always talk about this now, that that seems very small compared to all the numbers nowadays, but I think that you and I are on the same page. We don't believe the numbers nowadays. Everybody talking about, oh, my threshold is 400 watts, all that kind of stuff.
And today people train for the test, and that's just you coming off the road, getting tested.
Yeah. That's just coming, getting ready for the season, being tested.
And most people's threshold it's not. They don't race at their tested threshold. It's just you can't maintain it that high. And plus, lots of the equipment they're using, I don't think are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some power meters that are a lot stingier than others.
That's the word we use, stingy, right? So I've got actually, because you're in town, right? You're going to do a test. You're going to help me with my test.
Yeah, John's going to do an FTP test.
I got my tax there, and I'm going to do a test to help, because I don't want to say I'm on a comeback, but with your help, I'm going to try and lose a bit of weight and do a bit more, get focus on training a little bit. I'm the kind of person I'm either focused or I'm totally unfocused.
Yeah, on or off.
So I'm on or off. So I'm trying to focus a little bit. Hence, I had a salad for lunch. But actually,
before we get too far down that road, so the John's going to do an FTP test this afternoon, and that's super awesome. Just to have a baseline to build a program for your goals.
Yeah.
But so my point is that in 1990 there was no such thing as FTP. It was this onset of
OBLA, onset of blood lactate acid.
And to increase that, the prescribed workout was
that the doctor said the doctors, I think they're physiologists or something like that they call them. They said they recommended that we get 2 hours a week at or just underneath their threshold. That's what they said. You guys need to be doing 2 hours a week at or below our threshold. Right. And when they said below, they actually they didn't say very very much lower. They were like, you need
just
to be
under
2 hours just underneath threshold. So that would have been, for me at the time, that would have been 2 hours a week. Somewhere in the 335,
325,
335, 345, 345, something like that.
you know, which at the time to me seemed like, gee, you know, how the hell can you do that? Like, you know, threshold is like, you know, anyway. But we did it, you know, we did our intervals and, you know.
Well, the thing that's I really like about that story is, you know, so many of the coaches today, you know, they talk in terms of FTP that like Dr. Kogan or whatever, Andy Kogan invented it, you know, and that sweet spot training is something that's relatively new. You know, we're talking about basically the same thing with a different title that we all knew back in 1990, and it still holds true today. If you can put in an hour and a half to 2 hours a week, you know, in that zone, you're going to go faster, period. You know, it's not really fancy. It's just how do you break that up so that you can get it in and still be, you know, enjoy what you're doing and make it to the races.
I think Mitchell, you and I were on the same page. Like I'm a qualified cycling coach. Just like, you know, you actually helped me, and Dr. Dalby has helped me a lot. That's where I've learned a lot of my stuff from. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's an unbelievable world-class person. But I think we're on the same page when, like, if you want to go faster on a bike, you have to learn to go fast first and learn to go fast for a lot. Then you learn to stretch it out.
Right.
You got to get up to like bunch speed, group speed, and then you got to work on it. So
stretch it out. My arm's getting tired. It's fine.
Well, actually, Johnny Brady, a friend of mine, he was a pro for 7-Eleven, won a lot of good races. You know, whatever, Manhattan Beach Grand Prix, all these like great crit, you know, historic American crits. You know.
Yeah.
And I met him one time in Sacramento. I hadn't seen him in years. I was coaching MSU, Midwestern State University cycling team.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I was a coach there for 2 years.
Cool.
But I met him in Sacramento and I said, "Hey Johnny, hey, are you look good? Are you doing a lot of bike riding?" And he says, "Oh my God, I'm doing so much training." I said, "So what are you doing?" He says, "I'm doing an hour and a half every 2 days." And he was
right in that zone.
And he was flying, right? He was doing the river ride in Sacramento and like killing everybody. And his idea of, you know, he had finally learned that like the best thing to do is to, you know, do a lot of, you know, not a lot, but, you know, very intensive work, right?
Yeah.
You know, not hours and hours and hours on the bike, not 20 hours a week on the bike.
But long duration at threshold. Is that, or?
Yeah, like, do your intervals, go hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like when we go to the gym, we do our work, we recover, and then we try and do a little bit more work.
Right.
We have progression in our
super
training.
compensation.
Super compensation. We're trying to bring on super compensation. That's what we're trying to do in training, as opposed to what a lot of people, old school training stuff does is like ride yourself into the ground. And, you know, it just doesn't work. Right, you know, it's different. Like for the likes of, you know, Peter Sagan, Fabio Cancellara, all these guys. They need massive amounts of training, but they have got themselves to that level. Right? Yeah. They have themselves to the level where they can do 15, 25 hours a week. Right. And the other thing about it is conditioning is so important. Condition is the most important thing. Like, you know. They are in such good condition. They're world-class athletes, and then they're bike riders. That's the big change in cycling now, right? There's no fat cyclists. You know, the days like I just, you know, the days of, you know, we talked to, you know what I'm saying. It's about conditioning, right? So, I mean, I tell people like, oh, you want to go faster on your bike, lose weight. That's the most important thing you can do. That's if they're overweight. Most people, you know, this is, you know, that's the fact, you know. Yeah. If you're 12% body fat, if you get yourself to 10, you're going to climb better, feel better, go faster, recover quicker. It's just, you know, and that only might be like 6-8 pounds, right? Yeah. You know, and the interval train, you know, and do not a lot of training, but more focused training.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
So, John. I know we've got to finish doing this and then also set up for the test. And then we're going to go to the cafe to get some coffee.
We're going to get a little coffee before the test.
Say hello to the friends, the your friends down there.
That's it.
So we'll wrap this up. We'll be back with some more talk with John as we move along. I'll be here all week, so probably doing a number of blogs. So if you get anything out of this, you get any insights, please subscribe to the channel in the bottom right. John, we'll check them out later, right?
Good talking to you.
All right.
Take care.